Hey everyone. Hey, welcome to Lunchtime Goals with me, Wanda Martin, where we break for 8. So as you guys can see, I got my goals hat on, so I'm all in the mood. I'm already set and ready to teach you guys another goal setting tip that's going to educate you and also motivate you to achieve your goals. But first, let me say thank you once again for hanging out with me today on your lunch break. You could be anywhere, you could be doing anything, but just the fact that you decided to hang out with me and all these other goal achievers that are on here means so much to me. So I just want to let you know that I appreciate you and I thank you so much for hanging out with me. And then the reason why we break for 8 is because again, we say this every week. The University of Scranton, they have did a research, and the research study found out that 92% of Americans who set their goals, they never achieve them. 92%, which means only 8%, that's right, only 8% of Americans who set their goals, they actually achieve their goals. And so just the fact that you guys are on here every Wednesday, that means you all are not a part of that 92%. Say, I'm not a part of that 92%. You all are a part of the 8%. And because you're a part of the 8%, that means you are resilient, you are consistent, and you have momentum to achieve your goals. And so that's a good thing. So I'm glad that you guys are not a part of the 92%, that you're a part of the 8%, because that's my goal. My goal is to get you guys to be a part of the that's right. My goal is to get you guys to be a part of the 8%. And already I can tell that I am achieving that goal because I'm hearing some fantastic stories of you all setting goals, going out there to achieve your goals, and then coming back to get more information and applying it, and so that you continue to stay in that zone. So with that being said, I want to see roll call. Where are my 8%ers at? So if you're a part of that 8% and that's your goal, go ahead and hit me up in the chat area. Just type in the number 8. So I want to see where it's time for roll call. We do roll call every Wednesday. You know how we do it. I want to know who's a part of the 8%. Who's a part of the 8% crew? So go ahead. If you're a part of the 8% crew, go ahead and type in 8% in the comments section. Who's going to start the roll call off? I know we have Anisha on here. Okay. Kelly said 8. Anisha said 8. Gloria said 8. Joyce Holmes says 8. Okay, yes, these are all good. You guys are definitely consistent. You're hanging out with us every Wednesday. And so that's good. Wanda says she's a part of the 8%. And so that's what it's about. It's all about rising that number up. Look, I think 8%, that's a low number. I want to increase that number, but it's going to start from us learning the information about goal setting, applying that so that we can be a part of that 8%. Now, if this is your first time joining us today, hey, I got two questions for you. The first question is, where you been? We've been hanging out here every Wednesdays at 12 noon, finding out information on how to educate and motivate ourselves to achieve our goals. And just the fact that you just coming on today, hey, where you been? We missed you. You should have been a part. But listen, I'm glad that you're a part today. So to all of our first time visitors, hey, welcome to Lunchtime Goals with me, Wanda Martin, where we break for 8. But the second question I have for you is this. Hey, if you don't mind, could you go ahead and type in your name in the chat area? Because I want to send you a free gift. I always appreciate first time visitors. And so I want to let you know how much I really appreciate the fact that you would come out and hang out with us and just be a part of this session during your lunchtime. So if this is your first time hanging out with us today, hey, I see Trina working off today. Hey, Trina, I believe this is your first time. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to send you just a special gift from my heart to your heart. Just to let you know, I really, really appreciate you guys for hanging out with us and choosing to break for 8 with me. And so, especially if this is your first time, hey, here's a brief recap. What we've been doing, we've been talking about different things that highly successful goal achievers would do in order to be a part of the 8%. We've been talking about things that they would do in order to stick to their goals so that they can remain a part of the 8%. And we said one of the things that they would do is that they will make sure their goals are specific. They will make sure their goals are specific. Again, when your goals are specific, you guys can probably already finish that sentence. That's when you'll get it. So when your goals are clear, that's when the results will appear. So you want to make sure that when you're writing your goals out for this year or at any time that you have as much detail and specificity as possible, because you want your goals to be specific. I hope I used that word correctly. I hope I pronounced it correctly. But you want to make sure your goals are specific. Now, the second thing that you want to make sure your goals are, this is what the 8%ers would do. You want to make sure your goals have deadlines to them. Listen, without a deadline, it's not a goal. Without a deadline, it's your bucket list, it's your aspiration list, it's a bunch of resolutions, but it is not a goal. In order for your goals to be qualified as a goal, then it must have a deadline. Having a deadline will qualify your goal to being a goal because it has a deadline. And why do we want to have deadlines? Deadlines are essential because it produces actions. Whenever you have a deadline to anything and you see that deadline, what happens? It motivates you to achieve that goal or to get done what needs to be done. Now, the third thing we talked about with the 8%ers and highly successful goal achievers, they make sure their goals are written down. We've been talking about it, so I know you guys have your goals written down. They're just not in your head, but you have them written down on paper. And we said what gets written gets done. So you want to make sure that you write your goals down. It's not enough to just to have them in your head, have them in your heart. No, you want to write your goals down because there's power in your pen. When you write stuff down, not only is there power in your pen, but there's purpose in what you write. There's purpose in your pen. So you want to make sure you write your goals down. The next thing we talked about, you got to make sure you review your goals daily. That is so important. Again, out of sight, out of mind. If you don't have your goals in front of you where you can review them daily, what you're communicating to your goals is that they're not that important. But that is not the truth. Your goals are important. So, because they are important, that means that you should show them how important they are by reviewing them daily. Listen, by you just reviewing your goals daily, it causes you to increase your chances of achieving them because you are reviewing them on a daily basis. So you want to make sure you review your goals daily. We also talked about, with goal achievement, you got to have a strong why. What's your why? Listen, if you don't have a strong why when it comes to your goals, then you are not going to persevere to achieve them. Anytime you have a goal, you have to ask yourself why. Why do I want to achieve this goal? If that goal is not strong enough, if it's not a goal that motivates you, that makes you passionate about going after it, then you're not going to pursue it. As a matter of fact, you're going to become bored and going after that goal, and we don't want that to happen. So you want to make sure you have a strong why to your goals. 8%ers, they have strong whys to why they go after their goals. That's why they achieve them. They have this momentum. They ride the wave because they have that strong why. Like I have a strong why I get up here every Wednesday and hang out with you guys at 12 o'clock. What's my strong why? Because I want to see you guys be a part of that 8%. That reason alone motivates me to get on here every Wednesday to hang out with you all, to share with you a goal setting tip that's going to help educate you and motivate you to achieve your goals. Then the next thing we talked about, your goals have to be in the correct zone. So you have three zones. You have your comfort zone, your discomfort zone, and you have your unrealistic, or I like to say your delusional goal, your delusional zone. Make sure your goals are in the correct zone. Most of your goals should be in a discomfort zone. In other words, it should make you uncomfortable because when your goals make you uncomfortable, that means you'll do what you need to do in order to see that goal come to pass. So you want to make sure that you do that. Hey, Lois, how are you? I see you. Great to have you a part, Lois. Great, great, great. So let's keep going. And then last week we talked about the power of accountability. Listen, you guys, accountability is so important when it comes to goal setting. The 8%ers, people that are part of the 8%, highly successful goal achievers, they share their goals with others. But not only that, they allow others to hold them accountable to achieving their goals. Listen, you need someone to help you to achieve your goals. I mean, just think about it. Even the Lone Ranger have Tonto. He didn't go at it alone. And so you cannot go at it alone. You should not go at it alone. No one should go after their goals alone. You need accountability. And here's why. Just like it says on that screen, accountability will always produce progress. Accountability will always produce progress. But not only that, I shared this tip last week. You are more likely to achieve your goals by 65%. Check this out, more than half, by 65% when you have an accountability partner, when you have someone that will hold you accountable to your goals. And so this is your first time again hanging out with us. Those are the things that we've been talking about. And for you guys that's been with us every Wednesday, that's just a recap, a refresh to keep you going, to keep you motivated to going after your goals. You cannot lay down those principles. You got to keep building on each principle so that you can see your goals come to pass. Now that's what we covered over the last several weeks. Now what we're going to cover today in the time that I have left, we're going to cover something that I'm always asked this question when it comes to goal setting. Pastor Wanda, how many goals should I have? Listen, when it comes to goal setting, you want to make sure you keep your goals few in numbers. When it comes to goal setting, you want to make sure you keep your goals few in numbers. Now, I've been talking about goal setting for quite some time, for several years now. And I remember in one of my workshops, I had this young lady walk up to me. She was frustrated. I can tell she was overwhelmed. Her eyes was watery, so her eyes was filling up with tears. And she began to ask me, or began to explain to me, that she has become frustrated in going after her goals because she's not seeing any of them come to pass. And so I asked her, I said, hey, well, can I see a list or a copy of your goals? Do you have a copy with you? And so she pulls out this list. And when I looked at the list, when I reviewed the list, I noticed, and this is, I mean, listen, you guys, she had about 25 to 50 goals on that one list. About 25 to 50 goals on that one list. And when I saw that, I immediately knew why she was overwhelmed. I immediately knew why she was frustrated. And I immediately knew why she wasn't making progress towards achieving her goals. And it was because she had too many goals. She had absolutely too many goals. Listen, you guys, if you're going to be successful in achieving your goals, and that's that young lady, if you're going to be successful in achieving your goals, then you have to make sure you keep your goals few in numbers. You have to make sure you keep your goals few in number. Listen, if you're doing your bucket list, or if you're doing a big aspiration list to have 100 items or 50 items on that list, that's fine. That's okay. Those things will work. But if you're serious about reaching your goals this year, if you're serious about achieving your goals, you cannot have 100 goals. You cannot have 50 goals. You have to keep your goals few in numbers if you're really serious about achieving your goals at any time. Now, I know we're in 2020, but if you're really serious about achieving your goals this year, you want to make sure that they are few in numbers. And most people ask me, they say, Pastor Wanda, what is a good number of goals that I should have to work on? And I tell them this: a good number of goals that you should work on throughout the year should be about between 7 to 10 goals. Between 7 to 10 goals is a good number of goals that you should attempt to achieve throughout the year, or really at any time. And I always recommend that. And I tell them, hey, if you have more than 10, what's going to happen? You're not going to make any progress. You're not going to see your goals move. Really, nothing is going to happen from that. You're not going to be as productive as you want to, because you have a lot of goals. And also, you also will become overwhelmed. And if you have less than 7, what's going to happen? You're not going to address the major areas of your life. And the major areas, and I have them right there on your screen, like your faith, finance, future, fitness, and family. Listen, if you have less than 7, you're going to miss out on some particular areas of your life that needs attention to. So, with that being said, let me just find out how many of you guys would say that you have more than 10 goals. No judgment zone. I'm not going to come down hard on you. I just want to find out who I'm talking to. Before you heard this lesson, this tip, how many of you guys already have more than 10 goals that you've been working on? If you have more than 10 goals you've been working on, just type in the number 10 for me. If you had about 10 goals you've been working on. And because that's important, I want to know who I'm talking to, because this is really going to help you in narrowing down your focus on how many goals that you should have. Okay, how many of you had less than 7? If you had less than 7, go ahead and hit in 7 for me. How many had less than 7? Any of you guys had less than 7 goals? If you had less than 7 goals, go ahead and type in 7 for me. How many had less than 7? You had less than 7, type in 7. How many had no goals? Okay, let me do this. How many? Okay, Anisha says she has 7. Okay, then that's good. That's good. That's good. Anybody else? How many have about less than 7 or more than 10? I want to see who I'm working with, because it's all about helping you to be a part of that 8%. So let me ask this: how many of you have between 7 to 10 goals? If you have between 7 to 10, and you're right there, okay, Karen says she has about 7 as well. Okay, this is good. So if you have about 7 to 10, go ahead and type in yes for me. If you have about 7 to 10 goals that you've been working on throughout the course of the year, or that you have already said, go ahead and type in yes for me. I want to see who I am working with. I see a lot of you guys have signed on, so this is good. So I want to get your participation. So to make sure that I really address and hit the areas that I need to hit, so that you can leave from this session having the information that you need, so that you can be successful. So if you have between 7 to 10 and you're good with that, go ahead and type in yes for me. So I know that where you are, because it's so important. I mean, that young lady was so frustrated because she had more than she didn't realize, but she had more than 10 goals, and she didn't realize having that many goals really caused her to be overwhelmed. Okay, Gloria said yes, Wanda said yes, Karen said yes. Okay, so you guys, so okay, good number. You guys are y'all typing in, so you have about 7 to 10. So you guys are on track with that. So that is really good. And let me go on now. The reason why I recommend between 7 to 10 goals is because they said the psychologists in general, they would tell you that you can't focus on more than 7 to 10 goals at one time. They said if you do, what will happen? It will confuse you, it will slow you down, but also it will keep you from moving forward. So in other words, it will keep you from being productive. And that is not what we want to happen. We want to see ourselves become productive with our goals. But if you have more than 10 goals, you're going to find yourself becoming confused. You're going to slow down. You're not going to really make as much progress as you like. But then also, you're going to probably find yourself in a position of not being as productive as you like as well. And it almost reminds me of the thing that happened with the lion. How many of you guys ever been to a circus before? I know I've never been to the circus. I wanted to go to the Black Soul Circus, that's in here in Pennsylvania, that they have every year. I believe they didn't have it this year because of the pandemics, but I'm going to get there one year. But how many have been to a circus before, or even a zoo where you seen lions before? Because what I want to share with you, it goes in line of what happens in the life of a lion than when you have more than 10 goals that you are working on. As a matter of fact, it's been said that when a lion tamer, and they said when a lion tamer holds a chair in the face of a lion, they said several things will happen. Number one, the lion will begin to focus on all four legs at one time. So that is why you have this big lion in a cage with this little man, this little lion tamer, and all he has is a chair and a whip. Why does he have those things? What makes those items that powerful? Well, the chair has four legs. Whenever the lion tamer moves that chair towards a lion, one of their strengths is their focus. So they begin to focus on all four legs at one time. When they begin to do that, what happens? Their focus becomes divided. They no longer can singly focus on one thing. Now their focus becomes divided. And now that their focus becomes divided, what happens is now the lion becomes confused. And now that the lion becomes confused, the last thing that happens to the lion, it stops movement. So in other words, it becomes paralyzes, or it becomes paralyzed, or it freezes. It stops momentum. It stops movement. Well, that is the same thing that will happen to you when you have more than 10 goals. When you have more than 10 goals that you set for your life, listen, your focus will become divided. You will become confused, not knowing what to do next, because you have so many goals out there. You have so many goals on your paper. You have so many goals written down. You don't know what to do next. But then ultimately, you'll stop pursuing them. Or, in other words, you'll become unproductive. So the same thing that happens in the life of a lion will happen in the life of a person who have more than 10 goals. Your focus will become divided, you'll become confused, and then eventually you'll just stop pursuing your goals. And that is not something that we want to happen. I want to see you pursue your goals. I want to see you go after your goals. So one of the things that will hinder you from achieving your goals is when you have too many goals. You have to keep your goals few in numbers. I cannot stress that more than I am saying it. You have to keep your goals few in numbers. Now, for me, what one of the things that I do, I have 10 goals that I set every year, and I work on my 10 goals every year. And I believe because of this method that I'm going to share with you all, it helps me to become successful in achieving my goals. Now, when I have my 10 goals, I write my 10 goals down. And when I have my 10 goals, I break them into five major categories. And those are the five categories that's right there on your screen. So I break them into the faith category, family, finance, future, and fitness. They're the five F's: faith, family, finance, future, and fitness. All your goals should fit in one of those categories. Now, this is what I do. Now, I have 10 goals, right? And so I take two goals and I place them in each category. So, in other words, I have two goals in my faith category. I have two goals in my family category. I have two goals that I set for my finance. I have two goals that I set for my future, but then I also have two fitness goals that I set. So do you see that 2 times 5 is what? 10. That's what helps me to stay focused in achieving my goals. I only set two goals, two of my top major goals, in each category. And that's how I come up with my 10 goals. Now, here's the thing when it comes to that. Now, that, as a matter of fact, that's an example of my goals right there that I took real quick so that you guys can see. You see, I have 10 goals right there on the screen. Can you guys see that? Yes, no, maybe so. I have 10 goals right there on the screen. And so if you look at it carefully, all of those goals, they fit in those 5 categories. And so I take my 10 goals and I place them into those 5 categories. Now, here's the thing. In order for me to avoid being overwhelmed, in order for me to become laser focused with my goals, this is what I do with my goals. I break my goals down into quarters. So this is my goal setting method. I break it down into quarters. Now, this is what I do. So I number my goals from 1 through 10. Now, I just showed you that I number my goals from 1 through 10. So I have 1, and then at the top, and I have 10 at the bottom. After I number my goals 1 through 10, then I separate my goals into quarters. And again, this is how I stay laser focused with achieving my goals. This is how I'm able to achieve my goals by the end of the year. So I stay laser focused. I'm able to stay laser focused with my goals. So I separate my goals into the quarters. Let me get back. So I separate my goals into the quarters because there are 4 quarters in a year. So if you notice, January, February, March, that's the first quarter. April, May, and June, that's the second quarter. July, August, and September, that's the third quarter. And then you have October, November, and December, that is your fourth quarter. So I take my 10 goals and I separate them into each quarter. So for an example, like it is on your screen, I take goal 1, 2, and 3, and I place them in the first quarter. I take goal 4, 5, and 6, and I place them in the second quarter. Then I take goals 7, 8, and 9, and I place them in the third quarter. And then I take my final goal number 10, and I place that particular goal in the fourth quarter. So as you can see, I'm not working on all 10 goals at one time. I'm just within 3 months. I'm just working on 3 goals per quarter. I'm working on 3 goals per quarter. Do you see how that keeps me from being overwhelmed? Can you see how that keeps me from being that allows me to be laser focused on my goals? I'm not trying to do all of my goals at one time. I put them in quarters and I don't even think about them until that quarter comes up. I know I'm going to get to it. I know I'm going to hit it because I've already placed it in a particular quarter. And so I know I'm going to get to it. So I don't focus on it. I don't give attention to it. I focus on the goals that is in that particular quarter. So do you see how I'm keeping my goals few in numbers? Is this helping you guys? I see you guys putting up some hearts. So hopefully this is helping you all and you all are seeing how it is. It will help you to stay productive and it help you to stay laser focused with your goals. And so that is what I do. I take my goals and I place them in quarters. As a matter of fact, this is what it looks like. My board is a little bit messed up because of the pandemic. So I've been crossing out some things, adding some things, doing some course correction with my goals because of the pandemic. But as you can see, and there's more to this method, but I teach that more in my in-depth go for the goals training class. But as you can see, I have my goals separated in each quarters. The first quarter, the top 3 goals, those are the top 3 goals that I focus on. What are under those are just additional things that I have to do within that particular month. But at least I have my top 3 goals in each quarter. So hopefully you guys can see how I'm able to stay laser focused with my goals because I place my goals in quarters. And by me doing that, it helps me to stay laser focused and achieve my goals, and it keeps my goals few in numbers. So you guys got that? Did that help you all? I'm just trying to show you some of the things that I do within my own personal life so that you too can practice, do the same thing if it works for you, so you can be a part of that 8% as well. And so I just wanted to share that with you guys. I wanted to show that with you all. And I just want to share, hey, you guys, following this method was one of the things that helped me to stay on course with my goals. It helped me to keep my goals few in numbers. But most importantly, it helped me to take 10 steps in one direction instead of 1 steps in all these different directions. It helped me to make progress with my goals. I have made mad progress with my goals because of this method that I've been using. I'm able to take 10 steps in one direction opposed to 1 step in many different directions. So hopefully you guys got that and you guys can see that. If you want to follow this method, hey, you're more than welcome to do that. With that being said, hey, the whole purpose of this lesson today is make sure that you keep your goals few in numbers. You guys got that? And so with that being said, before we close out, hey, my book and my workbook is done. Hey, you can go ahead and start pre-ordering it. As a matter of fact, we went live with that on Saturday, which was my birthday. So that was one way that I celebrated. Already you guys have been purchasing and pre-ordering your books. So I want to thank you guys, myself personally, for doing that and for your support with that. But some of you guys that are on here, you have not pre-ordered your book and your workbook. You want to get this information. This is a wealth of information that I place in this book. It has tons of chapters. It's practical. It's easy to follow. There are methods that I use myself. You want to make sure that you get the book because it's going to help you to achieve your goals not only this year but also in the years following. And so all you have to do is just visit www.wandamartin.org and you can go ahead and pre-order your book. And again, thank you to you guys who have already pre-ordered your book. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. But it's not too late. Go ahead and pre-order your book if you want to learn more information about goal setting. It's a lot of information in there. I've done a lot of homework because I want to see you guys be a part of that 8%. And then also, finally, hey, you guys, follow me on my Go for the Gold Facebook page. If you do, hey, I want you guys to make sure that you like it. Just don't look at the page. Make sure that you like it. That's a goal I'm going to make for all you all that signed on. Go to my Go for the Gold Facebook page and like the page. And then also follow me and subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is called Go for the Goal. And then also for more information, as a matter of fact, I got on my Go for the Goal, my 8% t-shirt. Let me see, can you see? I'm a part of the 8%. So I have my 8% t-shirt. And so I have a lot of good stuff on goal setting on my website. So you can go to www.wandamartin.org and you can find some cool stuff over there as well. If you want to find out more about Go for the Goals, and then you maybe want to purchase some things out of our store. And so, hey, you guys, thank you so much for joining and tuning in with me today. I had a great time hanging out with you all. Prayerfully, hopefully, and I know I am convinced that you learned one thing today, and that is you're going to make sure your goals are few in numbers. As a matter of fact, that's your homework. Make sure your goals are few in numbers. Do not be like that young lady who was overwhelmed and frustrated because she wasn't making progress with her goals. Make some mad progress with your goals. You want to take 10 steps in one direction opposed to one step in 10 different directions. You want to make some mad progress with your goals. Then you want to make sure your goals are few in numbers. So with that being said, listen, congratulations. You are now part of that's right. You're a part of the 8%. And that's what it's all about. Thank you for joining me. Break for 8. This is where you can learn information about how to set and achieve your goals. And like I always love to do, I love to say, hey, be safe out there, be great. And also, don't forget, just be 8 all day. Hey, have a good day.